Hello everybody and welcome to Tiger Tales, a place you'll find stories and fanfictions written and read to you by your host, me, Tai Tiger. Today we're diving back into our Marvel and DC fanfiction universe, where I have very cleverly combined the likes of the Marvel properties and the DC properties into one ongoing massive universe with all the properties mixed together, crossing over constantly with ongoing storylines. If you want to see all of the stories on this particular universe, make sure you check out the Pacific playlist, but there's also Tiger Tales Lost Stories, another channel of mine with first-person perspective stories, but there's more stories in this universe taking place over there, so make sure you check them out after this one. But for now, let's dive in with Mutants for Hire. Mutants for Hire takes place in the world of the Mutants, of course, and these four boys have teamed up, and, well, of course, they do anything for a quick buck. Take that as you will. Anyway, let's dive in. Mutants for Hire, Chapter 6, Saving Gambit's Queen. 14 days ago, the world had survived the invasion of the putties. Now, the world was trying to move on from the event. During the invasion, our heroes and villains had to work together, but after they saved the world, they continued with their own journeys. Oculus, Thunderstruck, Benevolent Cardio, and One Up all stood in the park in Manhattan. The 10 p.m. breeze was gentle with a slight chill.
What's going on?
Thunderstruck asked.
We should be focusing on fighting the meteor freaks.
Cardio moaned. Gambit wants to meet us here, okay? He has information on Allison, the second meteor freak that we need to get. Or did you boys forget that, we were hired by the government to get 3 meteor freaks, and we've only actually gotten one of them? Oculus replied.
He has taken his sweet time.
One Up sneered, completely ignoring Oculus's remark.
You boys talking about little old me?
Gambit chimed as he approached them. What's up, G? Oculus grinned.
So, you got information for us?
Thunderstruck asked.
Not only do I have information, I have a job for you.
Gambit offered.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I mishear you? You wanna hire us?
One Up asked in confusion.
Did I stutter? Yes, I want to hire you. I will even pay.
Gambit snapped. Whoa, hang on. What's going on, man? Oculus asked, concerned.
It's my share. It's the Xavier Mansion. Something's going on, and I need backup.
Gambit said sternly. The 4 boys looked at each other, then back at Gambit.
I think you have our attention.
Cardio said.
Insignificant humans. My name is Golda, servant of the great and powerful Empress, Rita Repulsa. She has commanded me to tell you to go listen to the adaptation of Boom Comics' Power Rangers on Nerdstro Comics. Now, do as she commands, or be destroyed.
Gambit and the Mutants for Hire all crept up to Xavier's mansion. Gambit touched the gate and the lock burst open. The gate swung open slowly and the 5 gentlemen all walked in. They walked up to the main building, keeping low, as there were a few lights on. Okay, G, we do this and you owe us information about the meteor freaks. Deal? Oculus muttered.
Oh boys, it's a lot sweeter than that. The information I have is right here. The freaky chick with the horny kiss was here yesterday.
Gambit hissed, with a slight slither of wonder.
Why would she be here? At the mutant school?
Thunderstruck asked.
Maybe she likes bald guys?
Cardio mocked. Gambit peered into the window and sighed.
There should be people around, watching TV, gossiping, playing video games. There's a lot, but it's dead in there.
Gambit sighed.
And what if Rogue ain't here, man?
One Up asked.
If we don't find her, then I better find some answers.
Gambit barked. The 5 guys walked up to the main door and tried to open it. It was locked. Gambit grabbed the handle and channeled his kinetic energy into it, and the door handle then exploded, and the door swung open slowly. The door opened, and the dead silent spoke 1,000 words as the gentle breeze left the mansion. Something was seriously wrong. Gambit led the mutants for hire deeper into the mansion. They saw several kids stood there, not moving, completely still, their faces blank of emotion. It was like a scene from a horror movie. One-Up waved his hand in front of one of the kids' faces and received no response. Thunderstruck walked into the kitchen and saw that there were dishes to be cleaned, trash to be taken out, and Cardio checked the pulse of the children. Luckily, they were still breathing. Their pulse was completely normal, their eyes responded to light, and their face twitched whenever a sudden noise went off. They were physically fine, but they stood there motionless. Then suddenly a howling cackle filled the mansion. The 5 guys ran down to the X-Men danger room and saw a woman sat on some form of throne, laughing and clapping as 2 boys argued, like 2 children fighting over a toy. It's one of my favourite parts! The girl cheered. One boy punched another, knocking him clean out. The other lad dropped to the ground. Then the woman stood up, clapping. "Nicely done," she said seductively. Then she kissed him. As her lips left his, pink energy transferred from her mouth to his. He breathed in the pink energy and became even more docile. "That's Allison. That's our meteor freak," Oculus snapped.
We need to find Rogue and the new professor.
Gambit sneered. Then Allison clocked them standing in the doorway. "Intruders!" Allison shrieked. The 5 guys ran into the room ready to fight Allison. Suddenly, something hit Thunderstruck in the face. Then something kicked One-Up in the back. Then something knocked One-Up to his knees.
What's going on?
Thunderstruck barked.
We have an invisible attacker.
Cardio grunted as he got hit in the stomach. Suddenly, the room became a jungle.
Oh, what the hell is going on now?
One-Up asked.
It's the Danger Room's holographic training software.
Gambit explained. "And how do we sort this out?" Oculus asked them.
We need the new professor. He's the only one who can deactivate it. It's been on hiatus mode since Xavier went in a coma.
Gambit told them.
We need to find the new professor then. I say, 2 of us go and find him.
Cardio stated. "Alright, Cardio, I agree. I'm coming with you. You boys be safe," Oculus called back.
Just hurry back.
Thunderstruck snapped. Then Oculus and Cardio ran out of the room to explore the rest of the mansion in search of the missing professor, leaving Gambit, One-Up and Thunderstruck to tackle Allison and their invisible attacker. Allison grinned while she stood there. The invisible attacker moved rather quickly and struck all 3 of them. Gambit threw a handful of kinetically charged cards. They all hit the ground and exploded. One-Up touched the ground and his skin became metal, and Thunderstruck ran up to Allison, but one of the male students jumped in the way. "Stupid fools! All the boys in this building love me, and will do anything for me," Allison cackled. Suddenly, 2 side doors opened, and a whole bunch of male students came swarming in.
These are potential students, so please no seriously harming them.
Gambit growled.
Yeah, we hear you.
One-Up said with an eye roll. Gambit pulled out his bow staff and started tripping over the students. One-Up started running behind them, knocking them out, and Thunderstruck jumped over the crowd and ran up to Allison. He swung his fist, but was caught by something invisible. Then, in a shimmer of light, Graham Garrett, also known as Christopher Boyer, codenamed the Comedian, appeared. The metal freak who could turn invisible. An assassin stood before Thunderstruck. Then Graham punched Thunderstruck in the chest, then again in the back of the head. Then he backhanded Thunderstruck's face.
Hey, whatever happened to Storytime with Cosplay Dude 637?
Dude, you don't know?
Clearly I don't know, or I wouldn't be asking.
It's moved to Tiger Tales on YouTube.
Tiger Tales? You mean that YouTube channel ran by Tai Tiger?
Yep, that's the one. Tai Tiger brought Storytime with Cosplay Dude 637 to his channel, and it's better than ever. There's even some new stories, too.
No way! I loved Storytime. I can't wait to check it out on Tiger Tales. Thanks for the heads up.
Catch all your favorite episodes of Storytime with Cosplay Dude 637 now on Tiger Tales on YouTube. Subscribe and don't miss out on any of the fun.
Cardio and Oclos bolted around on the top floor of the mansion. They found several students under sedation. They also found Professor Maleficon, the School of Mutants substitute headmaster, while Professor Xavier was in a coma since Union Day. Cardio unplugged the machine and removed the breathing mask, and suddenly Maleficon woke up. "Where am I?" he muttered.
You're at the mutant school. Professor seems you have been in a form of sedation for a while.
Cardio replied. "Yes, I see. It was that Allison person," Maleficon snapped. "Yeah, Gambit and our boys are dealing with her right now," Oclo stated. "Wait a minute. Who are you?" Maleficon asked as he climbed to his feet. "Oh, I'm Oclos and that's Benevolent Cardio. We're the Mutants for Hire," Oclo said with a grin. "I have more questions, but right now we need to help Gambit," Maleficon stated.
I agree. How do we do that?
Cardio asked. "Have you found Rogue?" Maleficon asked them. Cardio grabbed his wrist and checked his pulse. Oclo shook his head. "I believe that invisible partner of hers locked Rogue up somewhere around. Turns out Rogue can also drain metahumans. Who knew?" Maleficon stated. "Okay, we'll go find Rogue and go help Gambit. Can you get all the students out of here?" Oclo asked him. "Consider it done," Maleficon nodded as he stood up.
You're fine, Professor.
Cardio said after checking his pupil reaction with the torch. The professor started rounding up all the students as Cardio and Oclos ran off and explored more of the mansion, and they finally found Rogue. She was laid unconscious, and her hand was intertwined with Professor Xavier's.
Her coma, it's being forced into her by human contact. Interesting.
Cardio muttered. Quick question, how do we sort this out?" Oclos asked.
I got an idea.
Cardio stated. Then Cardio's heartbeat sped up and his pain indicator in his brain turned off, allowing him to stand any harm but without feeling a thing. He then touched Rogue's hand and forced her to let go. He felt suddenly weaker but managed to separate the two's human contact. Cardio then let go of Rogue and his heartbeat returned to normal, and then suddenly Rogue woke up. She sat up feeling rather groggy. She climbed to her feet and looked over to the boys.
"Thanks, sugar."
Rogue muttered. "You okay?" Oclos asked her.
Maybe you should rest.
Cardio suggested. Rogue stood there, strong, and she shook her head.
"No, just tell me where Remy is."
Rogue demanded. Gambit and One-Up had finally taken down the hypnotized, love-induced students. Thunderstruck had taken quite a beating by Graham, who found it funny. Then Thunderstruck wrapped his arms around Graham and unleashed all the kinetic energy from the attacks. Out of his chest, the blast sent Graham flying back and he hit a wall, knocking him out. The three men then surrounded Allison. "You boys wouldn't hurt little old me, would ya?" Allison asked seductively.
"They're not the ones you have to worry about."
Rogue barked as she came crashing through the ceiling. She flew down with one almighty swing of her fist. She punched Allison in the chest, sending her flying back, crashing on the ground. Rogue landed, and then she turned to see Gambit. They both ran up to each other and hugged each other.
"You missed me?"
Rogue asked him.
You know I did, Shell. You know I did.
Gambit smiled. The next 24 hours was a complete and utter roller coaster for the Mutants for Hire, but also Xavier's mansion. The mayor's hired men in suits had came and stuck the metahuman power dampener handcuffs on Allison and Graham and took them away. Mr. Pocket then received a large payment for that. Professor Maleficon was introduced to the Mutants for Hire properly, getting a vouching word of approval from Gambit. Rogue had also thanked them for saving her life, and especially thanking Cardio for taking the risk. Maleficon tried to rope them into coming to the school, as in a week's time the school would be reopening for mutants. The boys happily declined. The boys was finally ready to leave when Gambit pulled out a large bag and handed it to Oculus. Nah man, you keep it, don't worry, Oculus said.
You sure?
Gambit asked in shock. Consider it as you now owe us one, Oculus stated.
Okay, deal.
Gambit nodded. Oculus then pulled out a contact information card and handed it to Gambit, who looked at him rather confused.
What's this for?
Gambit asked. You remember when we were kind of dealing with all the putties during the invasion, and me and you went to that duo who helped build the programming for the portal device who didn't cave in on us or kill us? Yeah, so the girl, that was Wildfire. We did some background checks on them. Dude, she's your sister, Oculus explained. Gambit stood there in complete shock. He was unsure if he heard Oculus properly.
Oh, sugar, you have a sister? That's wonderful.
Rogue chimed.
Thank you, Oculus. I always wanted a family. I owe you more than a mere favor. I'm here for you whenever you need me, man. Got it?
Gambit asked. Oculus grinned and slapped Gambit on the shoulder. Then the four boys walked away and headed home. Gambit stood there with Rogue under his arm, not knowing how having a sister would throw an ace in his deck of wild cards. The one thing the Mutants for Hire did not know was that they were being watched by a man who stood there flicking open a gold Zippo lighter repeatedly. He stood there and planned a way to kill one of the Mutants for Hire. In the Meadow of Memories, in a flash of rainbow-coloured light, several individuals appeared with their eyes all white, their bodies without love, hate, passion, or sadness, without any memory. Two of those individuals were known to the world as Nightcrawler and Shadowcat. Nightcrawler grabbed a hold of Shadowcat, and in a puff of purple smoke, they teleported away. They reappeared in a church in Germany. Suddenly their eyes returned to normal as their bodies was filled with their life. They did not remember where they were or anything really before Union Day. All they remembered was the light in the sky the day of Union Day. This is a very important church to me, Nightcrawler said to Shadowcat. I'm happy you wanted to share this with me, Shadowcat grinned softly. The two mutants had not been seen since the events of Union Day, and now they were back, not knowing what happened to them in the last year, or what would happen now they were home. Thank you very much for listening to this story. There are of course plenty more where that came from, on this specific channel and on other Tiger channels as well. There are plenty more Tiger Tales channels for you guys to find and explore, with all sorts of storylines, fanfictions to dive into. A huge shout out to the following: Cosplay Dude 637, my Parabatai, and Mark the Red Cornish Ranger. The three of us are the Three Ranger Bros. Then of course we have our partners, A Crown, and Cosplay Sun 637, also known as Xander. Of course, a huge shout out to the Zero to Hero podcast, and of course, If You Give a Dad a podcast. If you want to find out more about these people, make sure you check out our website, the3rangerbrosstudios.com. That being said, make sure you check out the Tiger Nexus podcast, my own podcast where I interview people, content creators and geeks alike. Sometimes those two things intertwine. Now of course, a list of the other Tiger Tales channels can be found on the website, and also some of the channels are down below in the description. Make sure you go give them a listen to, because there's more where that came from. Storytime with Cosplay Dude 637 also returns on a lot of the Tiger Tales channels, including the original Tiger Tales. So make sure you check out his stories as well. I have plenty more content where that came from. I do gaming, reactions, I geek out about stuff, I show off my collectibles, my artwork, and a lot more. Again, some of these links will be in the description down below. If not, you can go check out the website, or check out the TikTok at Tai Tiger 777, where I talk about a lot about my other content. Of course, that being said, I love you all. Make sure you hit that like button, you subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you do not miss more stories coming to you from myself and the partners of the channel. Word of passion, everybody, and I shall see you guys real soon.
That before we can.
Don't touch my Pringles.
Bye.